This channel just reached 80,000 subscribers, which is kind of an amazing milestone. I remember the last time I did a video like this, it was 10,000, which means that it was Helm's Deep. Hang on, what battle is 80,000? I mean, the Battle of Alesia, where Vercingetorix surrendered, there are about 80,000 people there on the Gallic side. It's not quite Helm's Deep, is it? But to celebrate this monumentous occasion, I asked you guys on my Twitter and on my Facebook to ask me questions, and I will give you answers. So we are doing that now. I forgot to talk then. How? 80,000 subscriber Q&A, go. Inace, challenge, find a visual metaphor for all 80,000 people and the geekier the better. Now I did a little bit of research for this, and the only thing I could find was that there's a 1 in 80,000 roughly chance of a live birth happening in Uncool, is it called? I've got it up on my screen. Basically, it means that a human can be born still in the amniotic sac, and a live birth happens roughly in 1 in 80,000 cases. It looks pretty gross. I'm not going to put a picture up, but if you want to look at it, that's a thing. So what I'm saying there, I guess, is that there are 80,000 of you and there's 1 of me. So I was the one that was born in a sack. Ooh. Thomas has asked, after finishing your PhD, what do you think will be the future of your channel? Will you continue vlogging, or will you start creating another kind of content? Do you think about it? Does it scare you in any ways? Cheers from Portugal. Hello, Portugal. It does scare me, honestly, because it's stepping out into the unknown, really. Finishing the PhD is a big, scary process. What I want to do is do video making full time. And I've said this before, that's probably going to involve making videos for other people, and particularly science and higher education stuff. But what I want to do with my channel is to continue doing vloggy type videos, the kind of thing that, for example, Casey will do, Casey Neistat, where he does a feature and like tell a story. And there are lots of stories I want to tell. But I also want to start doing what I consider like feature science content. I have a huge document of ideas that I want to do for like 10-minute videos, and I just need the time to do it. So the quick answer, yeah, is some vlogs. They're definitely going to be a thing, particularly if another more ambitious plan goes ahead. And more science stuff. Daniel Brenner, who was like me, but in an alternate form, like atmospheric physics, singer, who's baritone as well, has asked, worst PhD moments so far? I think the aftermath of meeting Susan Solomon and not knowing who she was, and realising that I'd met one of the most famous atmospheric scientists in history, and didn't there's a vlog about it, I'll link it down there, it's really embarrassing. Rodian has asked, do you ever regret going into the sciences? In one of your older videos, you've said that you were good at and enjoyed doing history. Do you ever think studying humanities or arts would have been more enjoyable and beneficial to you? And good luck. Well, thank you for the luck, I need it. I would have been better at humanities, I have no doubt. I always found essay writing and history and English in particular to be the easiest subjects. I found them very interesting, but I don't regret going into the sciences because I found them more difficult. I'm glad that I did them partly because they were more interesting to me at the end of the day, but they were also more of a challenge, and I think that was another factor. I don't regret not going into it. It's the kind of thing that I try and educate myself about in my own spare time and read up on stuff. It's the kind of thing that I would like to do in the future, but if I don't end up doing it, then I know I will have made the right choice of, degree. On that topic, Shannon's asked, what would you have done if you hadn't studied physics and atmospheric physics? Probably history. Austin's asked, were you thinking of making a career in academia when you decided to do a PhD? Yes, in short. After I did a research project in the summer of my 3rd year, I really liked academia. And in my 4th year, I did my master's project, and I was like, yeah, I really like this. And what I liked was the freedom and being able to pursue your own ideas. And I still really like doing that. But what has become clear doing a PhD is that, one, I enjoy doing this and doing media production more, and I think I'm better at it than I am at science. But also the career structure for early scientists there's very little job security. It's very difficult to get jobs. The way I like to think about it is it's like being a knight errant, a questing knight that you had to take on these odd jobs throughout the kingdom, like kill this dragon, slay this princess. You get 6 months of employment at a time, kind of thing. And I don't know, that just doesn't appeal to me so much. I like the idea that with this, I am the master of my fate, the captain of my soul, kind of thing. I am in charge of what I do on a day-to-day basis, which is scary because it means that if I don't have any good ideas, I starve. But the freedom that it gives me, again, is what draws me to it. Keith's asked, which topics did you find to be the most difficult when doing your A-levels and your BSc? Oh boy, A-levels. I remember coming out of the first further maths lesson where we did the simplex algorithm, and I was basically in tears because I was like, bloody hell, I can't do this. But I remember for some reason I really struggled with that. And I really struggled with, I think it was long division. I couldn't identify the rules. There was something in maths that I just really couldn't deal with. Then in my BSc, well, in my undergrad, I'm going to be all 4 years. I definitely remember struggling with QFT, my 4th year, quantum field theory, because, well, for one thing, I was going through a lot of stuff at the time, and I wasn't exactly fighting fit. But as a topic, it's just so hard. And he's also asked, have you ever failed an exam and had to do a resit? Yes, I failed all but one of my exams in my first year at Oxford. Roxandra has asked, what would you think of the possible outcome of combining physics and law? I am really interested in doing that and would like to hear your opinion. Ooh, yeah, that sounds cool. I guess this harks back to talking about science and humanities. That sounds really interesting to me. From a practical perspective, I mean, obviously there's stuff to do with, nuclear reactors, nuclear weapons, that's kind of a big thing. But I also know of people who have gone from a physics degree into a law degree. And one of these people who I knew who was in my year at uni and is earning more than £90,000 a year now, 4 years later. Actually, 5 years later, because they left off 3 years. So, it can be done and it can be very profitable. I think that the minds of lawyers and physicists have to work quite similarly in a lot of cases. It's very logic-based. Harry has asked, who has supported you the most throughout your life and what gave you the idea to start making videos for YouTube? It's a very sweet question, actually. Obviously, my parents have been hugely supportive. Not so much for the YouTube stuff, I suppose, because I don't talk. I know they watch all my videos, so I'm going to regret saying that. But they've always been supportive of me academically, in particular, because that's what parents do. And I didn't really talk to them about the YouTube stuff. And now, my dad is, in particular, is so supportive. It's amazing to have him on side. Every relationship I've been in, even my ex-relationships at the time, well, apart from one, they were very supportive and, encouraging, which was obviously a big help. And Pixel Girl is fantastically supportive and understanding of the fact that I'm here rather than at the pub with her because I've got to edit a bunch of videos. It makes all the difference. And my friends from home, I'm really, I'm so privileged. I'm white, I'm straight, and I've got great friends. I'm like winning the lottery here, and it's through no action of my own. Because my friends are fantastically supportive, and they always have been. For the most part, you get the true friends who they rip into you for it. Catherine's asked, doing a PhD is busy and sometimes can be very frustrating. How do you manage to be energetic all the time and get so many things done? I am not energetic all the time. I go through phases. I think of it a little bit like Odin in the Thor comics. God, says so much about you, Simon. Where I will be energetic for a long period of time and be really productive and get loads of stuff done, and then I will just sleep. There are some days where I always burn out. I always push it too far, and it's something that some people always criticize me for because I don't really care about my well-being, and it's been my biggest weakness always has been I push myself beyond what my body is capable of doing, and so I crash for like 2 days at a time. So in the period where I am being productive, I don't know, how do I stay being energetic? I get excited. I'm like a puppy of a person. I get really excited about stuff, and particularly doing and making stuff. It's why, for example, today I have made 4 videos, and it's been like, I've been working on them since like 10, and it's currently nearly 9 o'clock in the evening, and I haven't really stopped to do anything else. I don't know. I love doing things that, where I make stuff and that are geeky and basically I like doing stuff I like doing. That's a really dumb answer. Alistair has asked if you could have dinner with 4 notable people, dead or alive, who would they be and why? Well, they probably have to be alive because they wouldn't be very good company otherwise. Admittedly, at the moment, I'm binge watching the Great War channel on YouTube, which is amazing and you should definitely check it out. I kind of would want to invite Field Marshal Haig, Luigi Cadorna, Comrade von Hotzendorf, and who else was another incompetent commander? Jamal Pasha. And just sit them down and be like, What were you thinking? Your mistakes are legendarily bad. I just want to know. If I wasn't being influenced by my viewing habits, Gene Kranz, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Mike Collins. Because Apollo missions. I want to hear them talk. Tim Blaise, Acapella Science, who incidentally I'm honestly not making this up. I'm so happy has just shot past me in subscribers because Acapella Science is one of my all-time favourite channels and it's finally getting the attention it deserves. So you absolutely rock, Tim. I'm dying to work with you again. When you have an idea, do let me know. If you had to guess, what would you say the world would look like in 100 years, 500 years from now? I feel like 100 years from now, there's going to be tendencies on scales to go to the extremes, right? I feel like there's going to be a lot more stuff that is coordinated globally. Hopefully that means something acting on climate. Hopefully it means something to do with fusion energy as well. But also I think there's going to be increasing localization. Not as a backlash to globalization at the moment. I just feel like technologies are going to be invented that allow services to be concentrated in smaller areas. It's a very vague answer, but I mean, I'm not even going to try and answer 500 years from now, because other than hopefully not a scorched wasteland, I can't even see into next week. I am useless at predicting the future. Do you like my stickers, by the way? These are from my friend Claire, who, massive shout out, because she knows me all too well. Hamilton, Hello Internet, and that one I got myself in Vienna. I love this laptop. Adam McVie, who's I nearly met up with in Belfast. He's been following me from ages. Would you recommend starting a physics vlog / video channel, and what advice would you give to someone, me, who wants to start it? I think it's always, if you have something that you want to make, don't bottle that up, let it out. If you want to make videos, make videos. Don't do it if you just want to be famous. That's the answer I give to everybody. In terms of wanting to start it, just don't worry about what your audience is going to think. Just make the stuff that you want to make, and use social media to promote it. Send it to people and ask for feedback. Send it to channels that you admire, and 1 in 5 maybe will actually look at it and give you some feedback. But it's going to be so valuable, and they're going to appreciate the fact that you value their opinion enough to ask for it. And you take that feedback and mold it into what you want to do, and go from there and iterate and iterate. And most importantly, accept the fact that it is not going to happen overnight and you are going to be terrible at making videos to begin with, because everybody is. Jamal's asked very simply, savoury versus sweet? Sweet. John's asked, how did you deal with the stress of exams and more specifically the wait for results? Stress of exams, I've never really consciously sort of like struggled with it. It's just I get my head down and I work. It's when I feel most at my element in a way. Because it's just the work season and work is what I do. Waiting for results, I find it's helpful to just completely remove yourself. When I was waiting for my final degree results, I went to Croatia with some friends of mine. Didn't think about it once when I was there. Chet asked, what are the right reasons to pursue a PhD and what do you intend to do after completion? I've been watching too much Game Grumps, so I'm thinking I'm going to complete. The right reason to do a PhD is because you are passionate about your subject. Don't do it because you're just trying to avoid the real world. Do it because you really want to do that particular subject and you want to research it for 3 or 4 years. That's I think the only right reason to do it. What do I intend to do after completion? As I've said, I want to go into video production full time. What made you choose physics over any other science? Asked Scott. I think I've said this before. Basically, it's because when science split into physics, chemistry, and biology, all the cool stuff was in physics, I thought. And I really liked the teachers for biology and chemistry, and I was good at it and I enjoyed doing it, but I was only really interested in physics. Lachlan's asked, describe your reaction to the election night using emoji. You're going to have to wait for the week in the life vlog and my last week of term, because Dan and I do an election night special in that. Tosh has asked, why don't you show your girlfriend on the vlogs, but you show her on your Facebook page? It's a good question. I do, and I show her on my Instagram. Basically, Liv doesn't want to become a big thing in the vlogs because she's going into teaching next year. She's actually off to Cambridge to do a PGCE. Leave congratulations in the comments below. And so she doesn't want to have a big out there social media presence. The occasional thing here and there, she doesn't. At least I don't think she's ashamed to be seen with me online. But basically, she doesn't want it to be like the center of attention. So other smaller things like Instagram and Twitter, sometimes, fine. But YouTube, that's over 80,000 of you. So that's quite a big thing. Anya Rags asked, what is your definition of success? Is it a static point that you will reach or have reached, or a dynamic but motivational point? I think success is defined by more the latter. It's a dynamic thing, and it's defined by the freedom to pursue whatever you want to do. In a way, I mean, in a lot of ways, when I graduate and between Patreon revenue, AdSense revenue, and being commissioned to do stuff and presenting for other people, I'm financially independent, doing something I love doing. I consider that a huge success, and I can do good in the world and do what I love doing. That is success. Vinicius has asked, do you plan on getting a postdoc position? Absolutely not. Elizabeth Brown has asked, who are your favourite female scientists? Well, let me just look over there to where the poster is. I've said before that I have a massive soft spot for Grace Hopper because she's just so badass. Marie Tharp is very underappreciated, but confirmed the fact that plate tectonics was a thing and continental drift, so hugely influential. Ada Lovelace, again, because just so awesome, just. Yeah, amazing. One that people don't talk about enough as well. Well, people don't talk about this whole poster's worth enough. Linda B. Buck for discovering how the sense of smell works. I remember that was a question I had as a kid. I didn't realise there was a Nobel Prize being awarded at roughly the time I was asking that question for how the sense of smell works. And if I had to pick one more... Emmy Noether, because it's like one of the most beautiful results in physics. That if for every symmetry of a system there's a conserved quantity. There you have it. That's energy and momentum conservation. So beautiful. She's also asked who are your favourite YouTubers. Well, I've already mentioned two, The Great War and Acapella Science. Go and check them out for sure. At the moment, I'm also watching a lot of Game Grumps. I'm watching a lot of Hat Films, Team Double Dragon, a lot of live streams that the Oxcast do. I've also recently had a big binge of finding new movie and film analysis channels to subscribe to. So... Every Frame of Painting, Channel Criswell, Now You See It, like some of the classic ones. There's also Films and Stuff, Digging Deeper, Primitive Technology, that's different, and Kurzgesagt. Lessons from the Screenplay, Casey Neistat, Films and Stuff, How to Make Everything. Yeah, I've got a lot of favourites at the moment. Okay, I've been trying to alternate between Facebook and Twitter, but now I've just got Twitter ones left, so I'm going to try and speed these out as quickly as I can. Gabriella's asked, any recommendations for someone who didn't go to uni straight after secondary school and wants to get a BSc? Pursue what you are passionate about. Ignore any job prospects of it. If you get the degree that you're passionate about and you do well in it, the work will come. So if you want to go and get a BSc, you're passionate about it, do it. Andrea's asked, if you could extend your PhD by 1 year, would you do it? Or would you rather leap into the unknown? I'd much rather get the PhD finished this year because I've been in uni for 8 years now and I am ready to move on, leap into the unknown with video production. The Classic Skeet, how do you cope with the fear of failure if you've experienced it? I think I accept the fact that the fear of failure is just necessary. If you are not afraid of failing, then you're not pushing yourself. And I just knowing that, I think helps me deal with it. And also, I have a huge amount of faith. It sounds arrogant to say this, I didn't mean this in an arrogant way. I have a huge amount of faith in myself. Like, I just believe that I will put myself in a situation, I will figure it out. I'll often say to myself when I'm in a problem, like, you'll work this out, you always do. I always do. If there was a book of commandments for academia, what would some of the rules be? Asked Joshua. Thou shalt not passive-aggressively tweet. Thou shalt not expect anything from thy supervisor, unless you give them a lot of time. Thou shalt not expect to have much of a social life if you expect to do anything other than academia in your spare time. Thou shalt not covet papers in nature or science. And data is the Lord thy God. Thou shalt have no other gods before him. Charlotte's asked, what other area of physics would you consider specialising in or find really interesting apart from atmospheric physics? Kind of cheating to say fluid dynamics because that's why I got into atmospheric physics. That's cool. And associated with that, plasma physics, like fusion physics, I've always found really interesting. Joshua's asked, what order would you rank the Star Wars original trilogy in and why? Well, the first order would be 5, 4, 6. 5 and 4 are really close. Like 5 is classically the one that everyone says is the best, and it is because it intercuts the stories much better. But 4 has the best climax probably in popular kind of film history. 6 suffers through Ewoks. Zandru's asked, is Bob Kerman still alive and will he be returned safely back to Earth? He will be coming back to Kerbin. Dan and I are going to be recording for Sponge and Electric soon because I've been out of action for a while and so I've been rushing to catch up with main channel stuff. Spongy and Electric is going to go ahead. We're doing more of Kerbal. We want to do more couch co-op stuff and Game Grumps kind of style. And we're also going to do a lot more film stuff because the summer blockbusters are coming. And we're really excited to film some stuff for that. So yes, Bob is going to be coming home. Quickfire round from Caitlin Louise. Peanut butter, crunchy or smooth? I actually don't like peanut butter. Salted or sweet popcorn? Sweet because I'm not a bloody barbarian. Green or red apples? Red. Are you now hungry? That's my secret, Cap. I'm always hungry. Jamie's asked, why did you start your YouTube channel? I think of it as a social mobility thing. It was the fact that rich kids who went to private school were getting help into getting into Oxford, and they were getting answers to questions that I had no way of getting answers to. So I wanted to level the playing field a bit. Had you not gone to uni, what would you be doing right now? Bear in mind how uni got you started in filming. If I hadn't gone to uni, I guess I would have just stayed in my hometown. Like, uni was kind of inevitable for me. I was always going to go. Because if not, I probably would have just stayed in Keynsham and would have started working and probably been very unhappy. Alex asks, why did you switch from being a Liberal Democrat to a Labour supporter? Tactical voting. Both parties have a lot of policies that I agree with, but Exeter is a Labour stronghold, and I wanted to make sure it stayed that way because, tactical voting. Sirad's asked film recommendations and top 3 favourite films. I've got a whole video written where I'm going to talk about my top 10 favourite films. You're going to have to wait for that. Damianti's asked, what do you miss about school? I miss going in every day. I genuinely really miss sixth form and hanging out at lunch with the same people every day because they're still my friends now. I miss them, basically. Jacket Potatoes asked, why are you so delicious? Jacket Potato has asked, are you happy with the choices you made at sixth form to uni, both undergraduate and post? Yes, partly because I think they were the right decisions for me to make, but also because I ascribe to this worldview that's a more fati. You know, you've got to love the path that you've taken because, you know, believing anything else isn't going to change it, so you may as well love the path that you're on. Rebecca has asked, what's the best thing about being a YouTuber? The comment section. I love the interactions with you guys. I'm smiling because I just released a video with my weirdest comments being read out. Kayla's asked, in vlogging your time as a PhD student, what would you say is your biggest challenge or challenges? In terms of vlogging, it's editing. Editing takes so much longer than people realise. And I've gotten very fast at it now compared to a lot of other people I know. I edit very quickly. But all the same, one of the reasons I changed from doing like 30 or 40 minute episodes was because to edit one of those would take several days. Now, if I want to edit like a 10 to 15 minute vlog episode, it takes basically an evening. But that is a lot of work. In terms of life, whilst I've been vlogging, balancing everything, trying to get PhD stuff done and finally cracking the PV inversion code, and singing and vlogging and relationship and trying to set up stuff for the future and fitness and losing weight. It's all a lot at once. Harvey's asked, what was your least favourite subject at school? Either PE or maths. Says the person who likes running whilst doing a maths PhD. Tyler's asked, what's it like studying at Exeter? Some of us have uni applications soon, so it'd be quite useful. It is amazing. I love this uni. I'm tempted just to make basically a free advert for them because I love studying here. Watch my X vlogs if you want to see. Layla has asked, what has been the biggest challenge so far in your YouTube career? Oh, God, that's a really good question. Trying to make content that I think is worthwhile and that adds value to the universe by me creating it, but is also popular and also brings in an audience, because those two things are really difficult for me to manage to do. And I've managed it a couple of times. Got ideas of how to do it in the future. It's really hard. Sisyphus. I used you in a tweet the other day. Top 3 favourite books. I think I've talked about this before, but My Family and Other Animals, Brave New World, and Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. What does summer look like for you as a PhD student? Asks Evan. Any vacation plans? Business as usual. I have no plans to change. I have got to sing for graduation, and I'm not doing anything else other than getting my bloody thesis finished, which is coming along. Evan's also asked, what book are you reading right now? I just filmed a video, which I think will be coming out after this one, maybe, about my current reading. But I'm reading a book about how to watch a movie, which is like a theoretical kind of thing, and a book about the sun called 15 Million Degrees. Marcus has asked, hi Simon, love the videos. Thank you. As a runner, I love seeing when you make time for runs. What's your favourite exercise? At the moment, it's sitting on the sofa. I got out of exercise in a big way recently because ill and just been so tired. My favourite exercise at the moment, though, I really like doing middle distance runs, like doing 10k runs. when I'm getting back in, when I get back into it, there's just a sweet spot you hit, and it's like, it's not like nothing else I've ever experienced. Like when I did my fastest ever 10K, it was just like exhilarating. I loved it. Other than that, I do really like weightlifting. In particular, I like doing kettlebell stuff. My favourite exercise of all time is probably the Turkish get-up, which is like a all-body exercise. But I'm a big fan of squats. They are kind of great. Fat Boy has asked, what is your favourite meme of all time? There's no way I can answer that question. If I had to give an answer, it would be the All-Star Smash Mouth meme. But it's specifically it done as a Bach chorale. Hey now, you're an all-star, get your game on, go play. Hey now, you're a rock star, get the show on, get paid. John's asked, at what point did it stop feeling strange carrying around a vlogging camera everywhere you go, if at all? Yeah, it doesn't really feel strange anymore. Probably some point over the last 6 months or so. When I started doing weekly vlogs, or every other weekly vlogs, you just do it enough that you just lose all shame. I imagine it's like being a drama student's like. Breeze has asked, what kind of music do you listen to other than classical choir music? Well, that's a false question. I don't listen to really anything other than classical choir music. No, what have I been listening to recently? I may as well just go through my most recently played music. This gives you an idea from my Amazon Music. Albums played most recently: Weezer Deluxe Edition, Looks by Voces 8, Hide in the Creation, Love's Minstrels by Philip Sly, who was a gorgeous baritone, Rachmaninoff's All Night Vespers, Christmas music, it's June, Simon, Palestrina Volume 1 by The 16, Strawberries and Cream by Ninja Sex Party, The Berry Best of Ave Pet, Saint-Saëns Symphony No. 3, another version of Hide in the Creation, Paris Songs of Farewell, Bach's Mass in B minor, Wicked, the UK album version, Messiaen's Quartet for the End of Time, and The Very Best of the King Singers. Oh, and then the Doctor Who specials music and the Deadpool soundtrack. So, basically all classical music. Breeze has also asked, what's the most annoying thing about the British education system? Ooh, the fact that teachers are completely underfunded and underappreciated. They deserve so much more money for the job they do. And Britain is going to really go downhill unless we sort out how we view our teachers and academics. More teachers than university people. And then lastly, Liam Williams has asked, how did choosing a PhD impacted your life socially as well as mentally? Mentally, if I'm being honest, I think it's been a great stabilising factor. It has been enormously frustrating and has made me break down more than once. But it has been a constant source of tasks and freedom. And I really value that. That gives me mentally, it grounds me. Socially, I'm not a very social person, so to be honest, I struggle to interact with people academically. I don't know, for some reason I find it much easier to talk to people in a musical setting. I am a very introverted person, particularly if you catch me in the wrong light. Yeah, I don't really get people a lot of the time. So socially, it actually hasn't really contributed to my life in either a negative or a positive way. And we are done. Thank you so much for your questions. This has probably been a really long video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for sticking it out. As I've said before, I am just so unbelievably lucky, and I am so grateful to you guys, the audience, because, like I've said in this video, I love doing this, and I love making things and sharing it with you and trying to make the world a better place. And I like to think that my videos try and help people, you know, get into education, get interested in science, get interested in music, and improve themselves and make the most out of their lives. That's basically what I'm trying to do. And I am so grateful that I get the opportunity to do that. And in a few months, have the opportunity to do this as my job. That is nuts. I'm constantly blown away by the fact that people watch anything that I make. So to have 80,000 of you signed up to get videos whenever I make them, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I hope this video went some way to try and convey that, and to pay you back for your, in some cases, years of service subscribing to me. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this, do like it. Comment down there congratulating Liv for going to Cambridge. Comment also suggesting stuff that myself and Acapella Science can do, because I'd love to work with you again, Tim. And also, if you have any further questions, why not? I feel generous today. Put them down there and I will do my best to answer them. But no guarantees I'm going to be quick, as anybody who's ever emailed me will know. Thanks for watching, guys. I really... I've got to stop saying I'm so lucky, but I am.